What's up, people? Welcome to the Sales Drive Home. My name is Dennis. I'm going to be your host for the next 18 minutes as we drive home today and talk about things sales related, especially when we're talking about automotive sales, because that's what I do. Allegedly, that's what I know. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I was flipping a coin. I really wanted to talk about SEO, but website SEO sounds really boring. But it's important, or is it? I don't know if we'll get to that, because really what I wanted to talk about first was making your used car department profitable. And the first thing to understand is profit is what drives our business, right? So profits are important. So maximizing profits, that's what it's all about. So let's delve into used car department profitability. How about that? So I guess the biggest question then is there a key? Is there just one thing that you can do that makes your used car department profitable? And I was trying to boil it down to maybe three things or one thing, and it's hard. You can't do it because there's a lot of interdependent things that you have to focus on that makes your used car department profitable. So let's talk about a couple of them. I think the first thing that comes to most people's mind when they think about used car profitability is turn. How often are you turning your inventory? How quickly are you getting a vehicle in, whether you purchase it or whether it's on trade? How quickly do you turn that vehicle, get it through the reconditioning process, get it out for sale, and get it sold? The quicker the turn is really the key to profitability. So I think the number one thing that you have to say, if we're gonna list them, I think number one is turn, because cars don't get better with age. This isn't the wine connoisseur. You have to have a quick turn in your used car department, and that factors in a lot of details. You have to look at a lot of things when you're looking at used cars to increase your turn. So like 1A and 1B are the things that we need to talk about. I think the second thing that we would need to look at is, and it's been in the business forever, everybody's, every used car manager, every general manager, they always say, well, you make your money when you buy the car. That's where you make your money in the used car department. Because if you buy the car wrong, then you're not going to make money. If you buy the car right, you've got an opportunity to make a profit. So, the first thing is involved in that vehicle turn is buying the right merchandise. Knowing your market. And it doesn't matter if you've got software like vAuto or First Look or whatever you use. If you use that kind of software that gives you market analysis and market data and tells you, hey, this is how many's for sale in the market, it gives you an average day supply, great. That makes your life a little bit easier. But even if you use that software, it really comes down to knowing your market. Understanding what you've been able to sell quickly, what customers are looking for. That's super important. Knowing your market. Understanding what creates that fast vehicle turn. That's really the meat of that. So when you buy your vehicles, that's what leads to good turn. When you take a vehicle in on trade, understanding that even if a vehicle is maybe not super popular in your market. Let's say that you've got a row full of, I don't know, I was going to say Dodge Journeys. If you've got a row of Dodge Journeys and you're looking at purchasing another Journey, that's okay if it fills a specific need. Price point, trim point. Maybe you've got a row full of SXT Journeys and you're looking at a Crossroads, and so it's loaded up with equipment, and so that fills a specific need. That's okay. But if you look at if you're looking at another SXT Journey, you need to be super precise on what you should pay for that vehicle. Because if your car is going to sit there for 45 days or 60 days, what's the market going to do in that span? So that's where that vehicle turn and purchasing the vehicle for the right amount, that's what makes sense. So you've bought your vehicle. It's a high day turn, right? It's going to turn quick. Low day supply. That's what I meant to say. So it's a low day supply vehicle. You feel confident that you're purchasing the vehicle right, and it's going to turn quickly. So then the next catch point in used vehicle profitability is getting it through your reconditioning process. How long does that take? Tied up with that is also how quickly do you get that vehicle marketed online. So what process do you have in place to do that? Do you have a streamlined process, or is it a process where you buy a vehicle and it's going to sit for a week or 10 days or 14 days before it gets out of the shop? And tied up with that is when we say that we've got a vehicle marketed online and it's ready to sell, are you showing vehicles that maybe you just purchased at the auction, or maybe you just took in on trade? Are your salespeople or sales managers, are they showing those vehicles dirty? Just dirty. Came in on trade, people lived on a dirt road, never seen the inside of a car wash, and you've got people out showing that vehicle. Well, I've been on both sides, so I understand the desire to go show that vehicle ASAP. Say you took in a vehicle that is just perfect for the customer that comes in the same day that you took it in on trade, or is the next day, oh, we're out showing this car and it is filthy, dirty, nasty. Somebody's lived in the car. It needs to be cleaned. So, because really the price that you set on a vehicle, the price that somebody will pay for a vehicle really depends on their viewpoint of the vehicle. If you've got a vehicle that is filthy dirty and you're asking premium money for it because it's a premium, high demand car, well, if you're going out to show this car and it's filthy dirty, they're not going to pay all the money for this. So you need to make sure that before any customer looks at that car, you've got it ready to go. Which means your recon and detail process has to be pinpoint. It's got to be nailed down and tight. I mean, if you can get a vehicle in and turn it through your shop in a couple of days, that's what you need. If you can take a vehicle in today and it runs through recon and it runs through detail, and on average you're averaging 2 or 3 days to get it turned out, that's going to make your used car department profitable, assuming that you're buying cars right and doing all the other things that we talked about. So that ties up to, don't let people show cars that aren't ready. If you've got a vehicle and you got a customer for that vehicle, you know, let them know that it's in transit, that you're going to have it ready for them tomorrow, and then make sure it gets through. But you got to work with your service department or whoever does your service. You got to work with the detail department or whoever details your cars. You've got to have a real tight relationship with those guys, because that's what drives your profitability. And then, you know, all of this really wraps up into vehicle turn, because if you can get the vehicle through the process quickly, you can get it marketed. And when we talk about marketing your vehicle, that's the other thing that increases your profitability. You want it clean, you want it right, but you also want it marketed correctly, so that the person that is willing and able and is looking for the vehicle that you've got sees it on the internet, sees it on the website, goes to Auto Trader, goes to Cars.com and says, that's my car. So you need those vehicles marketed right. So back in the olden days, when you got to work every day, you would walk your lot, right? You'd get out and walk all your cars and look at your cars and make sure they were all ready to go. Same thing online. You got to jump online and look at your cars. How are they being marketed? That drives your profitability. That drives your vehicle turn. It drives it all. You know, and jumping back real quick, we talk about reconditioning the car. Reconditioning the car means just that. Taking the car, doing whatever we need to do to make it sellable. If you cut corners on your reconditioning, it may seem like, oh yeah, no, I don't need to do tires on that. Oh no, I don't need to do brakes on that. Oh, I don't need to do the wiper blades on that. If you cut corners in your reconditioning, you're going to end up losing money, because you're going to end up talking to a customer, telling them this is the, you know, this is a premium vehicle, high demand, and, you know, the tires are 330 seconds. Or they get in and it's raining like it is here, and they turn on the windshield wipers and it just moves the water around. It doesn't really clean their window. Well, how can you say that that's a premium car then if it doesn't even do those premium things like clean the windshield off or have good tires? So when you're reconditioning your cars and your recon company or your detailed or your service department comes to you and says, hey, here's the estimate on that car, and you start drawing lines through things, make sure that, and some things okay, you know, hey, they want to change the cabin air filter in a 4-year-old Mercury whatever that, well, not a Mercury. That would have to be older than that, right? Let's say that they come to you and say, hey, here's the estimate, reconning that 4-year-old, I don't know, Chevy Silverado. And you start drawing lines through things. Oh, no, don't do that. Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. I mean, you know, yeah, if it comes up and, oh, they're saying, oh, the cabin air filter really needs to be changed. And you look at it and you can see through it and it really doesn't need to be changed, then don't change it. But you can't skimp. You can't think you're going to make more profit by skimping on your recon, because it's going to catch up to you eventually. Promise you. Customer comes in and looks at the car and you've got it advertised for a certain price, but you didn't do tires on it, you didn't do brakes on it. Customer says, I'll buy it, but you got to do this. Then guess what? You're still back to where you started. Plus now you've got the whole dialogue between the salesperson and the customer, and it's not a good situation. So when you're doing your recon, don't skimp on your recon, because believe it or not, that ties into your used car profitability. So just remember that making a profit on your used cars is our goal. I mean, we take a vehicle in, and it's our job to make money on those. Just like anything else, I mean, just like it's any store's job to make money on things that they sell. That's why we're in business. I mean, you go to Best Buy, they make money on the things that they sell. So our job is to maximize our profitability. So if you do all those things, you tie in your recon, you don't show your vehicles before they're absolutely ready for sale, you make sure that you're buying your vehicles right, that you're paying attention to your day's supply and how long you think that car is going to be on the lot. If you do those things, that's going to get you to a point of profitability at your dealership. So thanks for joining me. My name's Dennis. This is The Sales Drive Home. You can email me, dennis@thesalesdrive.com. thesalesdrive.com. Just email me there, and we will talk about whatever you want to talk about. How's that? So thanks for joining me again, and that has been The Sales Drive Home. I'm Dennis. Peace.